All right. Oh, let's see if we got this. All right, we've got our microphone. We are back live. Let's go live on Facebook too. Woo, you guys, it's been a minute. Get this. Whoop. There we go. All right. It feels good to be back in this seat. Hi. If you're first time catching on to the live streams here, my name's Lynn. I have some new subscribers, which is why I'm starting off the live stream like this. Usually it's just, the usual people watching, the usual viewers, tuning in to the live stream. But I'm welcoming all the new people who subscribed over the past week or two. If you're catching this live stream, welcome. Thanks for following on our journey. I don't know if you found through some of the other videos, but I hope that, there's some relatable content and that some of the stories I share today are helpful to you. I'm realizing this angle is not very flattering, but I've got my headband kind of saving the day here today. This is the new mom look for me. So I've gotten rid of the bangs. And now I have these headbands, which look like I took the time to really neatly tie them, but these are all the rage now. They're just really headbands that slide right on. Thought I'd share that show and tell. I'm checking how I look and all this because it's been a minute since we've gotten together on the live stream in the basement. I'll explain. So last week I missed. I was extremely busy at work. It was supposed to be the first Monday that Bollywood was over, our biggest event of the year for work, and that things were supposed to start coming back to normal. But because last Friday was payday, I had to get payroll done, and payroll processing for 50 new bar staff, plus my regular staff, plus all these rentals that have been booming for work for us. It was a really big undertaking, and I had a lot of, and then plus on top of that, I had to, I'm starting to train people on how to do my job. It was just a really big workload, and I had until I think it was Wednesday that everything was just insane at work. But now I served my last week on call last week. It ended yesterday. It feels so good to not be on call. Because it was a really busy on-call week. And now my focus is just teaching as many people as I can how to do what I do at work so that if baby comes, I can just say, good luck. I taught you enough to figure it out. And that's where I'm at with things now. And I think for a while I was like, man, I really need to teach someone so they know it super well. But you know what? They'll figure it out. They will. They really will. So hello to people who are saying hi. Mom and Marcus. Hi, Marcus and Dad. Oh, yeah, and I know this looks like a dress, but it's actually a really cute top. I'll do a little show and tell here so you guys can see the belly right out of the gate, too. And hi, Laura. So this is it, guys. Look at this thing. So I've got my shorts on. The whole look today. But yeah, love these. These are, the black part is part of the shorts, the maternity shorts. I can't live without them. I honestly, my pants would fall down without these maternity shorts. And they're comfy. I've got 3 pairs that are like this. They're all green, and it works for me. I've got 1 pair of jean shorts that are maternity shorts, but they're the kinds with the elastic rather than the part that goes over the belly. So they fall down, but they're cute. But I think probably I wore them for the last time yesterday. So Kelly, you can have those back if you're watching because you lent them to me. But yeah, I wore this shirt for the first time. I am not so much a polka dot person. It has to be a real special polka dots. But yeah, I made it work with the earrings and the headband. I'm like, all right, I'm fooling people today. I feel pretty tired and achy, but I'm looking like I'm happy. So that's kind of the theme of today's live stream. And I really should have brought down some water because I am super thirsty. But that's okay. I can wait a little bit for some water. But hi. And Laura, I'm sorry that I worried you. Laura made a comment. I was worried since we missed you last week. Yeah, I did feel a little bit bad, and I should have posted a comment that that life got in the way and that I would have to put off a week. I was like, maybe I'll do a surprise live stream on Tuesday and catch up, but it did not happen. And Christy, hi. Christy saying hi on Facebook. So I am streaming live to YouTube and Facebook on the, I think it's still called Baby Talk on Facebook, and it's Life with Lynn on YouTube. Did you guys know that there's another person out there that made a Life with Lynn page on YouTube? Don't look her up. I mean, it's just like crazy, but great minds think alike. So here's what's going on. So I've, been getting the question a lot lately, how are you feeling? Which is very nice of people to ask. And generally speaking, if you are talking to me, I'm feeling good in that moment. But, when I'm not talking to people, it's probably because I'm tired, or because I just want to be alone, or because I'm not feeling great. So I give my answers in the moment, and I try not to worry anybody with the discomforts, we'll say, and annoyances that I've had lately. And it changes. It's like ever changing. Usually for a while it was just the sleep. It was just hard to sleep with a big old belly. It's almost like I've gotten used to the sleeping thing, where, to go from right side to left side or vice versa, it takes time. Like, that's a lot of body to swing over from side to side, but I've kind of gotten used to it. The annoying part now happened last night for the first real time, where I had acid indigestion or acid reflux, or however you, heartburn. I don't know the difference between all these things. All I know is that Tums help, and Kelly gave me a ton of her Tums, and I am so thankful. It's just this gross, icky feeling that comes up here, and if I lay down flat in bed, like I did last night, it wasn't right. And Bert has had some of this life experience, and he's like, you don't just take one Tums, you need more than one Tums. So all these little helps, like tips and stuff like that, have been helping. But I'm just really trying to pay attention to what I'm eating, to avoid that happening again, because that was the worst, and I did not like that. Okay, so speaking of like sleeping and food, I have to share another story that maybe you can relate to. So do you ever get doctor's orders and you're really good about following them, and then you're like, wow, I've been doing so good, maybe I can take myself off of this plan, or have a cheat day or something like that, because what's the worst that can happen, right? Like, everything feels great. So as I shared, I've shared since it happened, I guess for 2 months now, I've had been dealing with the gestational diabetes, and I've been doing a really good job, a lot thanks to Bert, on eating protein and veggies and staying away from carbs and sugars. Because gestational diabetes, the whole thing is that, like, the sugars going into your body, my pancreas, I can't remember what part of my body creates the, oh no, words are escaping me. I've been really struggling with words lately. Insulin, that breaks that down in my body so that my body can absorb sugars the way I did pre-pregnancy, and, break them down, and however our bodies use sugars, right? Normally, my body is not producing the correct amount of insulin to process those sugars. So what happens is those sugars end up going to baby. And if baby gets too many sugars, she's at risk of getting too big too fast, or becoming dependent on sugar. And then when she comes out, then having to regulate sugar intake for her can be something that we're trying to avoid. So I've been really diligent about following this, testing to make sure my blood sugar is good and all that. Got into a great routine. I knew exactly what foods to have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I got to a point where I'm like, I actually don't really need to test anymore, because it's the same results every day. But I did notice that stress increased my blood sugar levels. So that's a tip too, is like, just know that it's not just about food, but also stress levels changes your hormones, and it changes the insulin and everything that your body is producing. So I was spiking from stress. And so spikes would cause me more stress. So I had this, my logic was, well, I'm going to stop testing so that I can just assume I'm doing fine and not stress about it. So I did that for a few days while work was very stressful. And now I'm trying to get back into it. And, things are normalizing, and I'm back at like, sticking to the diet and everything. And so I go last week, what was that? I think it was Tuesday. We had our ultrasound, where we got to, it was like the one where they measure everything. It was our second one. We had this at 20 weeks or 22 weeks. And we go, it's a longer ultrasound, and the tech is, measuring the size of the organs of the baby and her bones, and making sure that the heart has good activity and the brain is the right size and everything. It's really fascinating. Really, it's so cool. And the tech that we have is just so wonderful. She really is. This is all at St. Joe's Hospital in Chicago, St. Joseph's. And there was something that came up that she had, she's a tech, right? So she collects the information, does the measurements, and then a doctor on site will look at those results that she puts together. And then if there's something that seems off, the doctor will address it. So the doctor comes in, or the tech says, I noticed that something about the kidneys aren't the same height, or like at the same, they're like not aligned in her body, or maybe they weren't the right size, or the same size or something. And so she brought that up, and I said, I can't remember how it came up, but I made the correlation between, I have gestational diabetes. Would that have anything to do with the kidneys at all? And she goes, you have gestational diabetes? And I said, yeah. And she's like, well, I'm just really surprised by that, because I don't know, she kind of looked at me, and I haven't gained a lot of weight, and I guess that there's not that it's always associated with weight gain or high blood pressure or anything, but often those come along with gestational diabetes. And I otherwise asymptomatic, of gestational diabetes, other than pricking my finger 4 times a day. And so she was just really surprised. And I remember, because she told us that the baby weighed the prediction of 5 pounds 6 ounces as of last Tuesday. And I said, that sounds, is that? And she said, it's 30th percentile. And I said, that sounds small. Is everything okay? And I said, I was expecting the baby to be a little bit bigger because I have gestational diabetes. Okay, so now it's all coming back to me now. Anyways, and thank you, Paul. He said pancreas. You're right. Okay, good. I'm remembering. I'm glad that I can speak about these things and not be giving false information on my channel. So appreciate it. So she was really surprised that I have gestational diabetes. And later that day, and then the doctor came in, and it's weird. She's like, yeah, we're just going to send this information about the kidneys to the pediatrician, and they'll do a checkup after the baby's born. And she's like, but everything should be fine. But also, to parents, because Bert's in there with me for this appointment, that's still okay, but is everything fine? Because you just found something that you have to report to the pediatrician. And now, of course, that's in the back of my mind, is our baby being born with a kidney problem? But anyway, you're born with 2 kidneys, so, we'll be okay. So, I think it's later that day or later that night, and Bert's sitting there for the appointment, and had heard this, surprise in the tech's voice of that I have gestational diabetes. And it's agreed that I can have a little bit of pizza. And pizza has the carbs that I'm not supposed to have because the carbs have the sugars, and it breaks down too fast, in the body, versus slow sugars, which are okay to have, like usually what you'll find more in like fruits. Anyway, so I have the pizza, and that night I have a nightmare that the baby dies. It is directly because of the pizza I had. It was like part of the dream that I had pizza and the baby like just couldn't handle it, and it was a horrible nightmare. And I woke up from it and I put my hands on my belly, and I'm very lucky because she's a reactive baby. So I'm like, when I touch on my belly, like she pushes back. It's the coolest thing. And so I poked around, and like within 10 seconds she was like, I'm okay, Mom, I'm good. So it was a huge relief, but I'm like, okay, maybe no more pizza. Sure enough, that same day, I think, we're all being rewarded for like doing a great job at our big event of the year. And so they got pizza for the office, and it was Pequod's. And if you're from Chicago and you know what Pequod's is, you know that is a really hard pizza to pass up. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to have a little bit of pizza. So have it. And then I didn't have a nightmare that night, but I didn't feel great later. So I think that was like the first day I had to start taking like Tums. And I'm like, okay, well, I had a few Tums and that fixed the problem. And then Kelly even put on the comments on Facebook, pizza equals heartburn. You guys, I'm such a fool. I had pizza a third time. And I'm embarrassed right now, like repeating all this back, like how big of a dummy am I? So then it was someone's birthday at the office, and they got pizza again, and it was D'Agostino's, and oh, that sauce is so sweet and delicious. I mean, it's no Pequod's, but it's a whole different type of pizza. It's delicious. So I'm like, okay, I'll just have a few, and I'll pick the ones that actually have vegetables and a ton of meat on top of it, so the protein and the veggies will it'll totally balance out. Nope, heartburn again. Okay. So I'm like, okay, no more pizza. Let's stick to the plan and get back on track. And then I'm fine. And then this weekend we have a garage sale, and we did such a great job. We made space in our house. We reorganized the garage, and we're totally nesting. We're totally in nesting mode right now. We're like reorganizing everything, and just we're decluttering. We're just preparing our home, like fluffing up our nest with like a couple adorable little pigeons. I don't think pigeons even have nests, and I don't know that they are mating like that. All right, let's go with penguins. Penguins, I think, do that. Anyway, so we're making our nest all nice, and Bert is exhausted last night, and I'm like, babe, what's for dinner? Because Bert is, like I said, the best, and he makes all of our meals. And he goes, okay, I was kind of just thinking pizza and mac and cheese, like frozen pizza, and like Kraft mac and cheese, like creamy style. I'm like, oh man, I haven't had that in like months, ever since I wasn't supposed to. And I'm like, babe, I can't have that, like the heartburn and everything, it's bad. And he's like, okay, I'll make you salmon. But I didn't really want salmon. And then when he said the pizza and the mac and cheese, I'm like, maybe I'll be okay. Okay, I've officially learned my lesson. No more pizza and absolutely no mac and cheese, because I had to have so many Tums. Like, it was so bad I couldn't even lay down straight. So anyway, my really long ass story. I'm so sorry if I lost your interest here. But like, okay guys, don't do it. Like, it's not worth it. If your body reacts to things like this, you just got to say no. And you know what, that mac and cheese, it didn't even taste as good as I remember it. So Bert and I, we learned our lesson. And on top of that, Bert had guilt too, because then he was like, he felt bad that I couldn't sleep last night, and I had one of those like vomit burps or verps, like where I could feel like I was going to throw up, and it was bad news. So we learned a hard lesson, which is don't give in to those cravings that the doctor is telling you not to have. You can in moderation, but 4 pizza days in 1 week was really bad. Don't do that. Hi, Amanda. Amanda's laughing on Facebook. So, yeah, big pizza for you after the birth. Exactly. Marcus is saying get a big pizza. Absolutely. Yeah, it's in the nightmare. It was bad. So, anyway, all this, being said, like, so when people say, Lynn, how are you doing? I'm doing great. I'm not going to tell them that long ass story about how pizza is causing me not good night's sleep and heartburn, because I'm pretty embarrassed about. That's a cause and effect that I can control. What else is going on though? So work this week, I'm officially not on call anymore. I still have to respond to my own workers reaching out to me throughout the week, but I'm starting to segue this over to this wonderful guy at work. His name is Sam, and he's going to be taking over my job, and I'm so excited to train him. And today it was like training day officially number, 3. And I really put him to the test today, and he did great. And I'm just like so optimistic and happy and excited. And there's a huge part of me that is just crushed inside. And it is really hard and emotional, and I don't tell a lot of people this, because this thing I've built at work, this grab-a-game empire, as I like to think of it, I'm handing it over to this guy. I'm like just teaching him everything that I've been doing, and I don't know. I don't know what my plan is, to be honest. I have 3 months maternity leave. And then the plan is that I return to work and that I take my role back and, things carry on. And somehow I'm able to do that and be a mom. But paying attention to how stressed out I've been this summer and recently, and how much I tried to go on a date with Bert last week, because everyone's like, go on dates now while you can, because when the baby comes, you'll never, you won't get those chances anymore. So I'm like trying to heed all this advice from people on trying to take the last few weeks, as much as we can as a couple. And that whole date, I was on the phone more than I was with Bert, present with him, and I felt horrible. And I'm like, is this the life I want? And is this the summer? Are these the summers I want, where I'm so stressed in the summer when I could be home with my family and going on vacation, or, I don't know, being there for them when they're going to camp or doing sports or activities and going to concerts in the park and all the summer things that are available for families and kids. And I think that there's I've gotten to a point where I'm like, maybe I've done this long enough, and it's time where I want to just have a more normal family life, and that's what my focus is. And I think that realization is very comforting to me right now, but it also comes with loss. And that loss, it's tough. It's really, really tough to say goodbye to that, something that I've just absolutely loved doing for a long time. And it's really hard. So you can have the both and. This is, something we would often teach Imani when she was with us, is like you can love and hate something at the same time. And that's what I'm trying to remind myself right now. It's okay to be sad and happy at the same time about this. Yeah. And my mom is saying, Grandma and Grandpa will babysit so you can still do date nights. Thank you. I know you guys will, and we're so appreciative and know that you've had lots of practice with the nephews, and so you guys are excited to have one more to add to your, to visit time and everything. I'm very excited for that. We're also really, really lucky that we know a teacher at the local high schools who says she knows all the best students who babysit, which is also great. And then over the weekend, we met all of our neighbors that have kids, and they're so excited for us to have a baby, because I'm clearly having a baby, because who can miss it right now? And they literally, all 3 of our neighbors that live behind us in the alley, just gave us baby stuff. They were like, at the end of their garage sale, like, here, take this. One of them wasn't even having a garage sale. She opened up her garage and came out with both arms full of stuff and goes, before I could even say sure, she had already put it in my arms, like 3 boppies and a baby bath, and then her husband comes out 5 minutes later with a box of like unopened pacifiers and bottle nipples and all sorts of like things. Are like, it's all unopened, just take it, we want it out of our house. And then, you know, the more that our other neighbors got to know us, because they live the one street over, right? Our alley, we share the alley, but we're not like next door neighbors, we're back door neighbors. That sounds weird. Anyway, you know, the more that they like got to, you know, talking and stuff with me, they're like, oh my God, just take all this. And so now we have all these cute little winter like suits and little shoes, and they were just so excited for us. And they're like, just take it. And I'm like, okay, now we have even more clothes. And it's wonderful. We haven't bought a single outfit for ourselves. And we are set. We won't have to do laundry for weeks at a time for every age range, I think, right now. But yeah, so much for cleaning out your house. Exactly. So yeah, we took in more stuff, I think, than we took in more small items, but we did get rid of big items. Like we got rid of a dresser that a friend had given us when we were making the foster rooms that we no longer needed. And we got rid of a bike that I had bought Bert a long time ago for commuter travel. We got rid of that, and we did fine. Like, it wasn't about making money, it was about making space, and we mission accomplished. We did create some space. Anyway, but yeah, Paul said it perfectly. It's a new chapter, and these neighbors that we have also have kids, and I think they're really excited that our kid will be able to play with them, but it'll also be at an age range where they're self-named preteen. She wants to be known as a preteen, even though she's 11. In a couple of years she'll be old enough to babysit too. So I think we're really finding our community. We're finding like these people that we'll be able to lean on, and I think that these women who are so excited to see a new baby in the neighborhood, because they're all like looking at me and remembering their babies and everything. I think if I were to be like, hey, can you watch the baby for a couple hours, I feel like they'd be like, absolutely. So I think we're in a good place. We really are setting ourselves up for a place where new chapter. Bert and I will still be able to find time with each other. We're being supported, and we're finding our new happy place. So all the happiness that I had with the stress of work and being busy, it's just being replaced by a new kind of lifestyle and a new kind of everything. So yeah. You guys, thank you for listening to that. I feel like it's a lot. And I have some comments here. Oh, my earrings look like pizza slices. They do, kind of, right? Or Doritos. I wouldn't mind some chips right now too. And yeah, and I see Marcus, thank you for saying I look great. Mom said super cute. I think this is back when I did the stand up and showed you guys, or I stood up and showed you my belly. And physically, I feel pretty darn good. I have been doing a great job, like every day for dinner. Instead of sitting on a chair, I sit on my ball, and dinner lasts about half an hour for me and Bert. And that's, I think, what they recommend is like bouncing on your big maternity ball or whatever. So, just finding these little ways to make routine has been key. It's been absolutely key. I make myself a protein smoothie every morning. Same 3 like base ingredients that I can switch vanilla or chocolate protein powder, and then what fruits I put in. So every day it's not the exact same, but it tastes like dessert for breakfast, and it's delicious, and I love it, and it's absolutely great on the protein and no sugars. It's awesome. So these routines are huge, and it's good for preparing. Hopefully we're going to have to make new routines and everything, but hopefully, because we're getting used to making routines, it'll come natural to make more new routines. And not that they last a long time, but just like being able to continuously adapt to making new routines, and they'll overlap in lots of different ways. Does that make sense? I just feel extremely optimistic about being able to adjust to our new lifestyle. I'm not saying I feel like I'm ready and confident and not nervous about like everything that we don't know. I know that we don't know everything, but I feel like we will be able to adapt very well and quickly. Let me tell you a few other things that we've been doing to prepare. So I bought a birth class package that's a series of 55 videos, ranging anywhere from 15 minutes to 45 minutes, and they're broken down in great chapters that are easy to navigate, and you can mark them complete. And Bert and I are no strangers to online classes. You know, when we were doing the foster training, that was all online. So we're very good about, you know, sitting watching these things together. Excuse me. And the classes are covering everything from, I mean, stuff that we already knew, like meals and how to eat and everything, but like natural, very natural things that we can be doing to prepare my body, breathing techniques, like actual birthing techniques. And then it also covers a lot of like the lactation stuff. And I can't wait to have like a lactation consultant in person too, but like we're watching this stuff together. We're doing it. And it also has like how the husband can help with like massage and movement and the ways he can support. And I think it's more than just taking like these. We haven't taken the birthing class at the hospital yet or through the hospital, because it seems like it was just like a few classes, and this is a lot more in depth and a little bit more crunchy, I guess is the term. It's a little bit more natural. And I'm not saying that I'm doing everything all natural, but I do think preparing for something like that will help me be ready for if I wanted to try. Like, so we will see. We will see. Thank you, Kelly, for answering that. I'm due August 21st. So we're less than a month. And if we are counting by the weeks, I believe it's exactly 4 weeks from today, if I'm not mistaken. I think August 21st falls on a Monday. I could be wrong. I'm kind of expecting her to come early. I just have this weird feeling that she's going to be early. And my doctor did have that talk with me, because we're now at weekly appointments. She said her preference, because she works with advanced maternal age patients, which is me. She says she prefers to have us have the baby between weeks 39 and 41. She doesn't give a big window. She doesn't want it coming earlier than that, and she doesn't want to wait longer than 41 weeks. And she asked, how I felt about that. And I said, I mean, all I can hope is that baby comes on her timeline, and I don't want to be induced. Those are my wishes, but I will also go with whatever doctor says. So a big part of what I'm hoping to get out of these classes is finding these natural ways to help baby, come naturally. I keep reading all these things, and I'm trying to stay away from negative birth stories, and I'm trying to just try to encourage my body to be healthy, and listen to my baby. And I know I can't hear her, but I can, I feel her, and she gets the hiccups every day still, and I'm just, I don't know. I feel like there's already a bond. It's kind of neat. I like being pregnant, guys. Honestly, this is a really cool experience, and I think I'm going to be sad when it's over, but also there's parts of me that are okay, I'm ready for it to be over. It's one of those both and things again. Okay, so, all right, I'm afraid of what kind of comments I'm going to get here, advice, now that I told you I'm doing these crunchy classes. Amanda's saying I took, and this is on Facebook, she left this comment, I took all the classes and watched all the YouTube videos, but she was stuck in the wrong spot, so we ended in C-section anyway. Absolutely do not regret learning all the things, though. So interesting. Yes, absolutely. And it's not just about, a vaginal birth either. It's getting through the contractions and listening to your body and helping to not be tense when those happen, and then that tension causes stronger contractions, which it just keeps going back and forth with pain. And so a big part of this is pain management and And they have you do these exercises holding ice, and like holding it longer and longer and longer, and like this kind of like pain tolerance of the discomfort of holding ice in your hand. And it's like weird, these little things that you practice just trying to like take your mind off of the ice, go to a happy place in your mind. Or is your thing focusing on those, I can't remember what the term is, but you do the count of 5. You're like, what are 5 things I can see, 4 things I can hear, 3 things I can smell, like those sorts of exercises. And you practice these things so that when you're actually in labor, going through contractions and everything, you can go to your toolkit of like, okay, where am I thinking about? I'm at the concert that I absolutely loved last summer, and I'm thinking about that. Or, Bert's giving me a neck rub, and I'm just focusing on the contact with my partner. So these are the kinds of things in the classes that we're learning. That again, it doesn't matter if you end up with C-section or vaginal birth. It's like just going through that labor, having a positive experience. That's what I'm trying to have. So yeah, that's where I'm at. But it sounds like, Amanda and Kelly is saying that too, and Christy's doing that too. And Kelly's saying, but before C-section, the epidural was a dream. And I totally thought, literally up until last night, I'm an epidural person. Like, this is just, it makes sense to me to take this advanced medicine. And of course, the video I watched last night that was like, there's these births, and they honestly sound like magic, where, what did they call it? Bert, can you remember what they called it? It was like, there was like an acronym, it was like FRE or something like that, where there's, basically the baby just comes out. Like they push off of their feet, literally push off of like the inside of your uterus, and the baby comes out. But they say in this video, and I'm really sorry if like this is changing anyone's minds about epidural, they say the epidural does not affect the baby. And the line they said was like, sure, it doesn't affect their heart rate or anything like that, but it does make them sleepier, so they don't do the push off. So then you don't have this like amazing, like baby pushing off and going through the birth canal. It takes you to actually really push, or the doctor or the staff or whatever, to actually push on your belly to get baby to go. And I'm like, but that sounds really cool if the baby like does the push off and it all like happens like that. That sounds really neat. But I can't have that if I choose epidural. And now I'm like, I don't know what I want. And it's not like guaranteed that it'll happen if I don't take the epidural. I'm like, oh my God. Now I don't know what my plan is anymore. I don't even have a plan in the first place, but the epidural was part of whatever that was going to be. So I don't know, guys. It's crazy, right? This, like, it's going to happen so fast. And I swear if it happens tomorrow, I'm going to just freak out, because I'm like, not ready yet. Almost ready, but I'm not ready yet. Yeah. Yeah, Kelly, the baby pushing him. There's a thing, Bert, do you remember Bert, are you watching? Oh, Bert is watching, because I see he bought one. I did buy 2 onesies. And I'll look it up, Kelly. Maybe I'll bring it back next Monday, and I'll drop some knowledge on what this magical birth experience is actually called. But there's a moment where to add more to it, it's like your birth canal relaxes and contracts in sync with like the baby pushing off, and the baby just like it comes out with basically without the mom really pushing. The 1%ers, exactly. Like, it sounds too good to be true. And yeah, Bert can't remember what it's called either, he's saying. Marcus has commented on YouTube. It's on a Monday. Can we live stream this? Bert and I literally joked about live streaming the birth yesterday. We were taking our walk after dinner and talked about, I said how cool it is that our very good friend Lauren, she does birth photography, and I'm like, it would be really neat to capture that moment. And I'm like, I just want to be with it enough to remember it. I know a lot of women don't remember their whole birth experience, but I'm like, I want to, there's a part of me that really wants to remember it. And Bert's like, well, why don't we just live stream it, you know? And we joked about how we would have like bad audio, and we'd be like, hold on, baby can't come out yet. We got to fix the audio issue. So legit, that was a conversation we had last night, but we were joking. And honestly, I will not live stream our birth. That won't happen. Sorry. I'm sure that it'll get a ton of hits and replays and stuff, but no. Hi, Amy. Oh, and Amy, well, Amy's watching in the replay now, but hi, Amy. You, at this point, I've been talking for 53 minutes. Oh my gosh, I should probably get out of here. So anyway, I guess that's what happens when I've been gone for a few weeks and needed to catch up with you guys. I've said a million times I feel really unprofessional today, but thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for listening, and I don't know, and especially those of you that have, you know, that are moms and have gone through this. I really do appreciate the positive stories. I'm, you know, like I said, trying to avoid any negative birth stories or scary stories. Those are not good for the soul at this time. We need positive thinking, and I don't need to go into this with fear. Trying to go in, sure, nerves are normal, but fear is something that's not going to serve me well. So, yeah, focusing on trying to keep things positive. If I, you know, using that word fear, it does kind of like just trigger like these, I don't know, there are these fears in me where I'm like, what would trigger that? And maybe that is something I need to work on, is like, okay, so if these scenarios that in me right now trigger fear happen, what can I do to alleviate that fear? So maybe I should work on that. Remind myself I'm in great hands, great doctor, great staff, great hospital, and great support team. So when we're home, you know, even if baby needs a little bit of attention after she's born, we're surrounded by awesome community, great friends, you for watching. And I know that everything is temporary, and I think that's the most calming thing. So whenever fear strikes, I just have to remind myself, or have Bert remind me, it's like, it's one of those things, you know, it's like, just keep practicing it, that it's temporary, and then it will pass. At this point in an hour, this won't be here, or tomorrow, or whatever it may be. But there's always going to be whatever this is that is uncomfortable or sucks or hurts or is scary. It is temporary. And I've used that so many times in my life, and it is something that we all have to use at certain times in our life. But it is a really hard thing to remind yourself of sometimes, especially when things seem really, really scary or really bad. So having people in your life that can help remind you that this is temporary, and say it in the right way, makes a big difference, right? So, awesome. Okay, so I'll read a few more comments here, and then I'm going to get out of here because I've been talking forever, and I really need water. And, okay. And Amanda is saying, you already have a great mentality. It's going to be amazing. Thank you so much for saying that, because I know, Amanda, I look up to you and your positivity, and so coming from you, that means a lot. So thank you for saying that. And, all right, some comments here. Mom saying, so good to see you. You look great. You are amazing. Love you. Thanks, Mom. I'm glad that I look great and amazing because, yeah, like I said, this is how I want people to see me right now. Dad's saying, hang in there. It'll all come out fine. Dad, thanks. Oh my gosh. And then Marcus is saying, trust in yourself and those around you, that you will handle things as they come along. Absolutely. 100% Marcus. I think that's great advice. Marcus is throwing out some suggestions here. Maybe it's called Ready or Not, Here I Come. Is that the title of the live stream for the birth? That's perfect. So funny. Okay, thanks guys for hanging out. Things should be easier from here on out as far as scheduling, so I should be back next Monday at 6. Here's the deal. So if baby comes and I'm not up for live streaming, and I really do hope to at least do some check-ins, even if I can't set up down here in the studio, I will at least do some sort of a live stream mobile, which means I can only go to YouTube. So if that happens, I'll post on Facebook and I'll say that that's what I'm going to do, but I will try to stick to the Monday schedule. And if worst case scenario, I'm not up to it, and I think that we can all forgive me if that happens, I will at least post a message letting you guys know what's going on. Okay, so I will give you that, because we are getting close here, and I know people are going to be wondering what's going on. So I will at least do that. That'll be our plan. A community post, exactly, Marcus. I'll put something in the Facebook and on YouTube, because I know how to do that there too. And then moving forward, I'll decide what's going on with the channel, and if I'm going to be live streaming, you know, life with Lynn, you know, and story as postpartum and everything, continue that journey with you here, or there is a part of me too that, and I know, okay, so this is how I'll close out, is this channel's been going for what, 2.5 years? I don't even know how long we've been going on here, but this is awesome, and the support's been incredible, and I know we get a lot of people that just watch and never comment, and I do get these like side messages on how helpful it's been to see our journey. There is a privacy line that I haven't quite deciphered what that is for me, and our family, and Bert's been extremely encouraging, and I think he encourages me to keep telling our story, and I think that it's helpful, but I also recognize that we have a third party, or a third person in our party now, but her privacy is also something I want to be sensitive to, just like I was when we had Imani living with us. Is there was a lot of, we want to be very careful about what we were putting out into the interwebs. So there will probably be, I will plan to continue, but there may be just certain things we don't share out of privacy for her, because she doesn't have a voice yet to say what she's cool with being shared or not. But as this channel has evolved into, it's about my life and my experiences through things. I think that there's plenty to share there, especially in the postpartum world. So that's where we will, you know, put it now, for now, as the plan. Okay, awesome. Exactly. Marcus said there should be more than enough to talk about while respecting the privacy. Absolutely. So just wanted to kind of lay the plan out and let you guys know, yay, we're so close. We're in the home stretch here, and thank you for everything for supporting us, and I can't believe that we're so close to meeting our little one. So thanks for hanging out. I'm gonna hang up here, or turn off, or log out, I don't know, and hopefully see you guys next Monday with another update. All right, thanks for hanging. I'll see you later. Bye. No, I still haven't got my buttons back together here. That's another thing. I'll have tons of time to do that when the baby comes and figure that out. All right, just kidding. All right, here we go. Bye.